Geez, this grass is long and this sidewalk is bad, so we're gonna knock on the door and see if we can take care of it for them. They've got a sticker on the mailbox that says, "Do you want the yard mowed?" I can't tell if it's abandoned. It's got a Ring doorbell on it, but it doesn't work and it's not turned on. It seems like somebody lived here recently, but now they haven't been living here the past couple months. So we're gonna talk to some neighbors to see what's going on and I don't know, see if we can help them out. Do you know if anybody's living in this house over here?
It's vacant, so there's one next to it. I don't know, I haven't seen anybody over there for at least 2 months.
Okay. Yeah, it seems like someone lived there recently, but
Yeah.
do you know what happened to them?
I've lived over here for 2.5 years, and there's been 5 different people live in that house since.
I just saw the grass was overgrown, so I was thinking about just cleaning it up to kind of make it look better for everyone around.
I don't see a problem with it. But, well, the critters is a big thing. Everybody dumps their trash over in between those 2 houses.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, we've got feral cats now running the neighborhood.
Hey everyone, Spencer here with SB Mowing, and I got an email about this house, so I thought I would drive by to see what was going on. I pulled up, got out of my truck, and went and knocked on the door to see if anybody was home. They also had a video doorbell on there, but it wasn't working, but it really just seemed like somebody lived here. So I went to go talk to a few different neighbors to see if anybody knew what was going on. And from all the information I gathered, I guess somebody lived here about 2 months ago, but they just recently moved out. Nobody's been by to cut the yard this year, and the grass is getting super overgrown, the sidewalks are getting overgrown, and with this house being vacant and the house next to it being vacant, a lot of people are starting to dump their trash in between them. Plus, there's a lot of critters that are just getting out of hand and they're making their way over to the neighbors' homes. So I thought I would get it cleaned up and looking better for the neighborhood, and man, it looked way better after I got finished with it. So you want to be sure to stay until the very end of this video to see the before and after pictures, because probably every single neighbor came up to me and thanked me, and they were super surprised with how it looked. Also, if you haven't done so yet, go down below for me and click that subscribe button, as it's really the best way to support this work that I do. Anyways, I hope you'll enjoy this one, and I hope you have a great rest of your day, a great rest of your week, and I'll see you next Friday. SB Mowing, out! everybody, I'm taking a quick break from this yard, and a big reason for that is because I'm here to tell you that there are over 28,000 back-related injuries every year using yard tools, and over a quarter of those involve the lower back. And that's why you all have seen me use the reach right handle in basically every single yard cleanup that I do. The reach right handle is an ergonomic handle that attaches to so many different tools, and it reduces bending in your back by up to 40%, and it reduces spinal pressure by up to 500%. It prevents back injuries, it really helps to improve your posture, and overall it just helps with productivity and efficiency. And working the summer heat is already tough, so anything that I can do to help decrease my back pain and the stress to my overall body, I will absolutely do. And not only is this good for individuals, but if you're a business owner, you need to pick some of these reach right handles up to protect your employees' health, minimize your downtimes, and maximize your efficiency. The cool thing is that the reach right handle is on a summer sale right now, and you can stack an exclusive SB Mowing discount code on top of this sale. So be sure to head over right now to reachrightusa.com and use the code SB Mowing to get an additional 20% off of your purchase. This is only valid until Friday, July 25th, so be sure to go pick some up right now, because also their inventory is running quite a bit low due to some supply issues. Anyways, thank you so much to Reach Right for supporting my work and sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to this cleanup. All right, everybody, just got finished and look how amazing this looks. It honestly looks like a completely new house. Hopefully whoever owns it gets it rented out, or whoever owns it sells it so that somebody else can enjoy this home. But at least we got this yard looking way better for the neighborhood. We got these sidewalks usable again for people to walk on them. And then we got all the debris cleaned out along the curb so that drainage in this area isn't affected by this home. But unfortunately, the backyard we cannot do. I checked the fence on this side and the little fence over here, and there's no gate. I think the only way to get back there without hopping the fence is going through the house, and so we're not going to do that today. But there's just a really little small amount back there because this is a corner house, so we were able to do the whole side yard and the whole front yard, and it just looks way better. But I do really appreciate each and every one of you watching till the very end of this video. It's really the best way to support this work that I do. But if you did want to support my work just a little bit further, you can head over to sbmowing.com/shop and pick up an SB Mowing t-shirt, an SB Mowing hat. I also have a ton of other t-shirt designs over there. Plus, I sell my red handheld Mariama equipment, like my trimmer, my edger, and my blower. I've got a whole assortment of their equipment over on my website, so be sure to go pick those up. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this one. I'm gonna get home and take a shower, but I hope you have a great rest of your day, a great rest of your week, and I'll see you next Friday. SB Mowing, out.